Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Ooh, sorry, I just got a notification out of nowhere there. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with the other co-host, Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing today, Mr. Burt?
Doing good. Glad to be here on this Friday talking movies. How are you doing tonight?
I am in the exact same feeling as you, or the same mood. I'm very happy to be talking some movies. Last week and the week before were very cold weeks in the city of Chicago. Today is cold, but not as cold as it has been. So
true. That's very true. And it seemed a little nicer out there today. Yep.
It means pitchers and catchers are reporting for duty and then within the next 2 weeks, which is always fun and exciting. The White Sox may not be world beaters, but they look like they have a pretty decent team than last year. So I'm looking forward to that.
Good to check in to see what they're going to be up to this year.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure we'll be at the ballpark for a few games this year. Tell them this has been, so we had 2 weeks off. So let's just go into what we've been watching during those 2 weeks off, my friend, for what we've been watching.
All right.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching, my friend?
What have I been watching here? Okay, let's see. I have been watching 2 movies here. We'll get started with The Smashing Machine, which stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Also, Emily Blunt is in this movie. There's some other people in the movie too, like nobody of what's the word I'm looking for? We're all here to talk about The Rock's performance, which I could tell you it's a pretty good performance. I could tell you though also the story is something is missing from it. I don't know if it's like the story itself. I don't know how it's told. It's a good movie to sit and watch once. But it wasn't something that I felt like should have really got maybe he could have got some award nominations. But the movie itself, I really just didn't see it with this. But I will give Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson props because he does a good job in the acting department. I mean, wouldn't you put him in the top 4 wrestling actors of all time? To
be honest with you, he would probably be number 2 in terms of actors. I think
Batista.
Batista probably be number 1 in terms of the way he acts because he's actually a really phenomenal actor. But in terms of like blockbuster movies, it'd probably be Rock, number 2.
That's how I would kind of look at it too. But we're checking out. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's worth checking out. And then after that, I checked out The Running Man, which your frame to frame has had it in my back of my mind, needing to watch this movie. But I'm glad I didn't watch it to compare it to the first one. I watched it just to give it its own little thing, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. I think the original is cheesy for its own merits. But this movie, I think, is different. It's more of just a good movie, I think, in my own opinion. I didn't think it sucked. What did you think of this one?
So I think I like this one more than the original, which is saying a lot because I really love the original. I think the cheesiness of the original is both great and kind of like a double-edged sword, kind of great and bad. But I think the reason I like this movie a lot was because the film knew what it was going into it, and they expanded upon it closer to the book a little bit, but also they took their own liberties and they had characters that were memorable, like Michael Cera's character, stuff like that. And I love the fact that Glenn Powell did not try to reprise the role of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was basically his own Ben Richards, which is always good. Combine that with good writing, I think both films are awesome. And if you had to do a remake, this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say this was a good, a little bit better than some of the other remakes a lot better actually than some of the other remakes out there, because he had a good director behind the helm with Edgar Wright. He does good work, and I think all the actors. I've always actually been a big fan of Lee Pace. I've seen him in some other stuff. So when I found out he was the guy under the mask, I thought that was kind of cool, for my own cool satisfaction. But you're right about Glenn Powell. I think he played the role really, really good, and I'm glad he didn't copy Arnold. That would have been cheesy, I think, at this point of anybody's career doing that. And Josh Brolin always nails down good roles, and then everyone else supporting everything else. I mean, it was good.
Did you ever see the podcast interview with Ron Perlman?
No.
So they asked, the guy asked Ron Perlman, I forget what a podcast it was. I saw a clip of it, I think, on Facebook. And they're like, yeah, is there any role that you wanted and you didn't get that you thought, man, I could do that? And he goes, any role that Josh Brolin does. And everybody he started laughing. He goes, that son of a bitch knows I could do his roles.
That's a good one. That is a good one. But so I would agree with you that in some days I could see it being a little bit better than the original, just because honestly the original's kind of dated in some ways. This movie, he did a good job at what they were going for.
Yeah. A little shout out to No Scorpio 19. He says, I like horror and thriller type movies. Well, you're in the right place, my man. If you go to our playlist, we have at least 90, I believe, movies, Tone. 90 or 120 reviews for 31 Days of Horror.
Good horror movies check out.
That I do every October. So I do review 31 movies every October. So you can go to those playlists and check those out. They're not long. They're like, I think the most is maybe 4 minutes. Yeah, 3 to 4 minutes. Nothing too long. So check those out. Sam already coming in with his best Sam Raimi movie as Spider-Man 3.
Classic.
Well, I watched 3 different films in the last 2 weeks. One of them, of course, I was influenced by, I keep getting these random reels. I don't know if you have TikTok, but if I go on TikTok, I get a bunch of movie reels because I follow a lot of movie people. And one of them is Gran Torino. I was getting a lot of Gran Torino clips. And I hadn't seen that movie in maybe about 4 or 5 years since I think we looked at it on the pod. And I decided to go and check it out and see, does it still hold up? Personally, I thought it was it's a really kind of like emotional story in terms of what the characters as well as the main character that Clint Eastwood plays, because he's not really a nice guy, but he's kind of an anti-hero of the film. And it touches on a lot of things that, racism, but also that some people can change and stuff like that, and about home life and things like that. I still think it holds up. I thought it's beautifully directed. But when I was reading about it, the lead actor who plays the Hmong young man is totally against it. He did not like the racist remarks that Clint Eastwood used in it, or the stereotypes, which I thought was, wow, I can understand why. But what do you think of Gran Torino?
I watched it probably a couple times when it first came out. I haven't seen it since, like you said, talking about it. But it's one of those movies where it's like, I agree with the young actor said, you know what I mean? But also I think that's the point that Clint was trying to make, and I don't know if it's a good point, you know what I mean? But it's a pretty good movie for this stage in Clint's career, especially the way it's filmed and the way it's looked, and I think the overall story, and I like the idea of the car. And I think at the end of the day in the movie, he learns to be maybe somebody different. You know what I mean? Which I think everybody has a right to be. I heard a politician say this week, if I piss you off, can I please have an opportunity to make it better? And I think everybody has an opportunity if somebody pisses somebody off to make it better. And if he did it in this movie, or you watch it and feel that way, then I think that's the point.
Yeah, I believe so. And Clint Eastwood looks old in this movie. This movie came out like 17 years ago. So Jesus, man, Clint is looking old. I did laugh when he punched out the glass in his cabinets. It made me laugh because of how slow he moved.
Do you have in front of you what is the year this came out? Is this because what
2009?
is it? Because when did then the Mule come out? That's got to be 2016, 2017.
I think the Mule came out in close to 2018 actually. So 9 years later.
So, and that's what's crazy is like you said, he looks old in this, but then you watch him in the Mule and you're like, wow, he's getting older. And then he's in that Cry Macho and you're like, geez. I always tell my wife's grandmother, who's still alive at 90 something years old, and she is the same age as Clint, and I'm like, Clint's still on movie sets, Nana. You know what I mean? You got to get out there. That's inspiring. I don't know what Clint's up to now, because I thought Gene Hackman was doing good, and then we found out he was laying on. I think
Clint's actually directing, if I'm not mistaken. Still,
that's pretty cool.
I think he might be doing a new film, directing wise. But yeah, he's like in his 90s and still going strong. Pretty cool. So good for him. Another film I watched was due to an Aqua Teen Hunger Force skit about the Highlander. And I decided, let me check out the original Highlander again with Christopher Lambert. To me, I think this film is like an underrated sci-fi film that doesn't really get talked about a lot. I know there was a series that came out and there was many sequels and that were really bad. And then, we've been hearing about the remake that's going to come out. So we're supposedly Henry Cavill is going to be in it coming out. But the film is just one of those films that has such an interesting story about immortals, and they leave so many open possibilities about what the backstory is for like no fighting on holy ground. Why is that there? And why do you have to cut off somebody's head to gain their essence? And it always cracked me up that you have Sean Connery as Ramirez, even though he says he's Egyptian. His last name is Ramirez. He could run like a deer. It's just like so many crazy things in the film, and it opens up with them at Madison Square Garden and him watching people wrestle, which I thought was pretty funny. Just a classic sci-fi film that does not get talked about enough now, that I wish they would have taken better care of it. And shout out to Clancy Brown as the Kurgan. Just another dynamite performance. What'd you think of Highlander?
It's like you said, it's a stellar movie. I mean, really deep in a lot of the different things that they're trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to purvey throughout the story. Clancy Brown is really, really, really awesome. And it's also cool, since you mentioned they've been posting pictures of the new one coming out, and I just wanted to check. Batista is playing Kurgan in the new, which is pretty cool. But come on now, Clancy Brown. I'm a huge Clancy Brown fan, and he's actually the only saving grace to that Freddy the Cougar remake, is because he's in it. I'll give it half a star because of him. But Clancy Brown is a really, really good actor. Just a really good actor, and I think but so is Christopher Lambert. He's a good actor too. And I think in the 80s catalog, when you look at all the 80s movies, don't you think Highlander kind of stands out on its own as something original?
Oh yeah, that's why and then it had so many endless possibilities. And then have you seen Highlander 2?
No, but that's where I was going to ask you, is these sequels, because I remember the boxes. I remember looking at Sean Connery with a ponytail and going like, I don't know about this, but maybe you know something I don't.
So, well, in the original Highlander, Sean, I'm going to spoil it because, it is 40 years old today. Like, it's 40 years, it's made in 1986. Anyway, Sean Connery dies. He gets killed by the Kurgan. He appears in the second one for no reason. They don't really explain it, but and the whole point of this film is there can be only one, meaning that once you kill the last Highlander or the last immortal, you gain all their knowledge and basically can see everything in the world, and you get to live with that. That's what they claim is the prize. And in the end, it was the Kurgan versus Connor McLeod, Christian Lambert. Well, the next film, they decided to say do the origin story of the Highlanders, and they basically put them on this planet called Zeist. So they're aliens, which made no sense to the original film because he doesn't even talk about it. Apparently, he knew Ramirez before, but why didn't he recognize him when he saw him in the first film? It got hated so much that there was like the first film to have a fan edit called the Renegade Cut, which was released. Really? Yes, the theaters got the movie company got so upset with the reception, they released their own cut called the Reckoning Cut, which now you can't find the original on VHS. It's very hard, or on Blu-ray of the Zeiss cut because so many people hate it. And then the third one, they had Mario Van Peebles, which had a little better story where they had a immortal stuck in a cave that Connor didn't know about. So he isn't really the one. He has to wait to kill him. And then the other following ones were just bad. They're just horrible. I'm hoping Henry Cavill can kind of, restore some luster. Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. You should watch. There's a guy called Noah Antweiler who does a Highlander 2 review, and it's hilarious because he just gets so upset. But finishing out and running out my week, I actually went through and watched Sinners. I watched it before, but I was working, so I was going back and forth while I was listening to it. But I really wanted to see the essence of it. Me and my wife sat down and watched it last week. And you know what? I can see why this film was nominated for so many Oscars. I really, really enjoyed the film. There were some things that I thought were a little bit kind of excessive, but it gave me really, really Dusk Till Dawn vibes in the 20s. I really liked that aspect of it. I thought Michael B. Jordan was awesome. I thought Delroy Lindo was awesome. I love the ending, the tie to Chicago at the end. That I thought it was really, really done well, set up well. The only thing I would say that was kind of weird was the sexual parts in the film that were just kind of random. But besides that, it was enjoyable. So what do you think about Sinners?
Thought it was a really good movie. One of my favorites of the year. Probably my favorite part of the movie is actually, I love the ending for some reason. The last shot is probably one of my favorites because I like the idea of, buddy guy, older. And I love the idea that he let his brother go and he's been alive this whole time, and just the idea. And he offered, what's his name, a lasting more, and he didn't take it because he liked his life for what it is. And I just thought that was really deep for the movie. I thought the scenery was great. I think everyone did a great job. Just thought it was a good movie all around.
Yeah, Miles Catton as Sammy was awesome with the guitar.
He was.
Haley Steinfeld gets like second billing, and she was not really in it as long as the other stars. But it was a good film. I really enjoyed it. I can see why people love it. And hopefully, my man Delroy Lindo wins his first Oscar. I thought he was awesome.
He should have got it for Get Shorty.
Blood In, Blood Out.
Yeah.
Did you hear though? They had an interview with him on TMZ, I believe, or I think it was Access Hollywood. They had an interview with him, and the co-host or the host was interviewing him, talking about Sinners, and he's like, "You're an up and coming actor." And Delroy Lindo like was looking down, and he looked up and he's like, "I have to stop you there. I've been around for a long time." Like, how do you not do your research?
That's bad. That's really, really bad. Really bad.
He's like, I think he's in his 70s. Like, how's he an up and coming actor?
Oh, bad.
What up, Gordo? So that is what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over at the Show Pod on Twitter, X, wherever Elon calls us this week, or on Facebook at Statistic Penguin Studios, or in the YouTube comments, my man. So let's just go straight into our main event for tonight, my man. We are talking Sam Raimi movies, and this was a great idea you gave us to do this show. And tell us why.
Just this released just this past weekend was a brand new movie, which I am just hearing that it's getting a lot of praise. It's called Send Help, and he is the director of it. And it's cool to see him and just see his career at all the different places it's gone. And now he's back with another horror type movie, and it's cool to dig in to see all the different things in the directing category that he's accomplished.
Yeah, there's very few actors I think that put their own stamp, like they can call them trendsetters on certain genres of film. And I think Sam Raimi is one of those directors that does it in the film of horror. You have like the icons of John Carpenter and Craven, doing those horror films, and then you have like the suspense with David Fincher, doing his type of horror slash suspense mystery. But Sam Raimi, I mean, he added a whole another like little element to horror and making it not only gruesome but comedic in a way that makes you love it. Which is why I think he's always been one of my favorite directors, and his brother Ted's in all of them, which
Yeah.
always makes you.
Oh yeah.
He's also a Michigan boy, so.
Oh yeah.
But my man, we're gonna go into our favorite Sam Raimi films. Some you might not expect, and close it out the night with the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, like always, my man. Are you ready to get into our first film?
Let's go to the first one. Let's do it.
Cool.
Today I'm throwing hard, Gus.
You and me? One more time?
Why not?
The 1999 For Love of the Game. It stars Kevin Costner, Kelly Preston, John C. Reilly, Brian Cox, and J.K. Simmons. It had a budget of $80 million and it made a box office of $46 million. Now, this is one of my picks, and the reason I picked it is because when you think of baseball movies, you also automatically go to Bull Durham. You automatically go to Field of Dreams. I like this movie a lot more than I do Field of Dreams, and the reason is because there's a lot more baseball in the film. I do think it's kind of cool the way Raimi shows the play on the field along to go with Vince Scully calling the game, which I think is awesome. It's at Yankee Stadium, and you have a pitcher basically having his last great outing, a great pitcher having his last great outing before he retires. Kevin Costner is always good in these roles. Is it a perfect movie? Not at all. It does have a love story element to it, which I think blends pretty well with the film. It kind of gives me those Blue Bull Durham vibes without the comedic stuff as much. But it's just a film that I thought was differently done than most of the other baseball films that we've seen. There was more live action in it, and that's what I really, really appreciated. And Billy Chappell was a badass. What'd you think of For Love of the Game?
Again, I would agree with you on your Field of Dreams assessment. I think I was later to this movie than a lot of other baseball movies. I don't know why, but when I first sat down and watched it, I've always been a fan of like that linear storytelling. So he's pitching, but it keeps going to other things. So it's like it pieces it together like that. And I really enjoy that part of the storytelling, which I think again shows Sam's magic. And you're right. It's also cool that some of the supporting cast, I mean, John C. Reilly as the catcher, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I do like the aspect that it keeps showing, like it kind of gives us that little peek behind the curtain of baseball and how they can have that relationships off the field. And some people leave for, free agency, and some people are there because, like in the case of John C. Reilly, he's really there because Gus is really there because of Billy. He's Billy's personal catcher. So Billy keeps him with a job. And Billy sticks up for him. Like, I'm not pitching without Gus, and you also see like the part about taking care of yourself in the off season, how, the passion for the game keeps you going. I mean, he was almost 40, I believe, when he retired. Just a really well put together film. Not the greatest, but it's worth a watch.
Oh yeah. definitely. It's also kind of funny to realize that I guess Tom Cruise was supposed to star in it at some point, which is really interesting. To imagine him as the pitcher. I mean, that I don't know if he would have sold.
5'7".
That's thank you for saying it. I actually
Yeah.
had to bite my tongue right there, but
Hey.
Kevin does a good job, and he sells the role good in that way.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, great actor. I saw him play Jack Reacher. We all did, which is like a 6'5" guy, and people got mad about that. But even the author of the book said they're not always gonna make it like the book, and he said it was pretty done good, a good rendition of it.
Wow.
So, I mean, could he have done it? Yeah, but I prefer Kevin Costner for this film.
Oh yeah.
Let's roll right into your pick, my man.
Her friends, they pitched in $100 all together and bet her that she wouldn't go steady with me for a month.
1998, A Simple Plan, starring Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, Bridget Fonda, Chelsea Ross, and Brent Briscoe. It had a budget of $30 million and a box office of $16.3 million. Tell us about A Simple Plan, Tone.
I thought this movie when I first saw it was again very. I'm a big fan of like mysteries, and this movie, it was a good mystery, and of course, Bill Paxton is one of my favorites. So he kind of that is what brought me to it, and then later finding out that it's actually Sam Raimi directing this. That's how I found out about a couple movies I actually enjoyed. Was that he directs this movie too? Oh, he directs that movie too, and that's just a really cool story. And just this week, Billy Bob Thornton did an interview where he said the hardest movie scene that he's ever filmed was in this movie, which is kind of interesting because Billy's been 40, 50, 60 movies. So that just shows that the acting chops in this movie are actually pretty good, especially from Billy Bob Thornton too.
Yeah. For one, a lot of people rag on Bill Paxton, and I don't really know why. I guess they haven't seen Frailty. Maybe because he's in most of the sci-fi horror films with like that he dies, but he's actually a really exceptional actor. And he puts in a great performance in this film. I think Billy Bob Thornton kind of steals the show because he plays a really weird looking character. Like when I was looking for clips, I totally forgot the way he looked in this film.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a loner, and you kind of feel bad for him. Like the story he told I didn't put the whole clip because we didn't want to get copyrighted, but he's basically telling him that, if he's ever going to get married, and Bill Paxton's character tells him, well, you like so and so, and he's like, yeah, they basically paid her to make fun of me. It was basically to make fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that story, he says, I wish I could find something like that, which it's pretty sad. But this film has like a lot going for it. It gives you that small town feeling, kind of being trapped inside their area, with a nice little element of mystery in it. Really, really good cast in this film. Bridget Fonda and Billy Bob Thornton, Bill Paxton. Like, it's a really, really good cast. I really enjoyed this film. And I recommend anybody that hasn't seen it to see it.
Well, just the way it all starts to unravel too, when they make some decisions that are really questionable. You got Gary Cole showing up from Office Space as like a police officer trying to you think he's a police officer, but he's actually like the guy trying to get the money back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just some really good tense acting. And definitely the snow background is really good. And movies like this, I've always enjoyed because it could be like really quiet, and then a loud scene, quiet. Like it's a building type of attention, which Sam does a good job. Yeah,
a lot of good tension, a lot of good symbolism in the film too, with crows and stuff like that. Whenever something's about to go down, you see the crows. Just good stuff. I really, really enjoyed this film, and this is the film that does get talked a lot, which it should.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it should, and it's funny to see that there was a music thing here that Frank Beard from ZZ Top had a little small cameo in the movie, which the only guy in the band not to have a beard.
And your name is Frank Beard.
Frank Beard, yeah.
They had to be doing it on purpose.
It could have. It had to be.
Good pick, my man.
Thank you.
All right, let's roll in to number 3.
The Terror of Tucson. Ugh. A bladder full of hot air.
1995's The Quick and the Dead, starring Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobin Bell, Keith David, and Lance Henriksen. The film had a budget of $32 million and made a box office of $18 million. Now, I know what people are thinking, oh man, that movie's cheesy. But you know what? That movie was cheesy, but it grew on me. And the reason it grew on me was it was something different. You had a female protagonist, as in the Western era, who was a gunslinger, and she had a story why she was doing so. Gene Hackman played his usual Gene Hackman role of being the asshole in a Western. And I thought he was really awesome. It had an all-star cast. Gary Sinise is in this film in a very small role as her dad. But you had a whole bunch of different characters. This is like one of the biggest roles that Russell Crowe had when he was coming into acting. And Sharon Stone specifically wanted to work with him for this role. And then you have a young Leonardo DiCaprio as the kid. I love Westerns. Is it the best Western? No. But for all the Westerns that John Wayne was in, and, you know, what's his name? Gary Cooper.
Strong Silence.
Yeah, Strong Silence type. I would put this film up as better than most of John Wayne films. He just did a bunch of films. This film actually had a lot of cool things and a lot of cool concepts. Keith David's in it as a gunslinger, which is also always awesome. To me, it was just really enjoyable, and I took it for what it was. What'd you think about it?
It's hard to knock a movie that's got all this talented cast in it. I mean, you know what I mean? If you can't find something awesome in this movie, then you're missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are missing it. It's crazy that the prize money for this movie is basically a gunslinger quick draw contest, and the prize was $123,000 at the time, which would equal over, which would equal $3.2 million today. I was saying that the prize money was $123,000, and it would be over $3 million today, which is crazy.
Awesome. That's crazy.
Go ahead, finish it up.
Yeah, I was saying it's just crazy that this cast is this stacked and you can't find something awesome to find in it. You know, it's just you if you're not, then you're missing something, because it's a good fun time, like you said. You know, I mean, Sam Raimi again doing a Western. Sign me up.
Yeah, and so there was like kind of a love thing with Court and Sharon Stone's character. Apparently there was like a love scene filmed that's only shown internationally, and Russell Crowe and her kiss, but you never see that in the film, the American version of the film, which I think is kind of good, because Russell Crowe's supposed to be a priest. So
yeah, it'd be a little odd having that in there.
Yeah, a little odd. But, you know, if you love Gene Hackman in a Western, this is a film right up your alley.
Yeah, definitely. It gives you a little Unforgiven, because he was great in that too.
Yeah. So, and it's also awesome that, you know, Raimi took a step on something, you know, different. You know, I know his buddy Bruce Campbell did Westerns.
Yeah.
What was the show that he did? Something, it was like a TV show.
Well, I'm laughing because at the same time I'm looking at the notes, laughing that imagining a world where instead of Leo they casted David Arquette.
Oh God, yeah.
That would have just been awful. That now the movie would have maybe not been good, possibly. I don't think Russell Crowe could have beat that.
No, I don't think he could have beaten it. A Briscoe Kid or something Briscoe was a show that...
I know what you're talking about, but I remember when it was on.
Oh, I can't think of it. I don't know. There's something with the Briscoe, something the wrestler.
It's Gerald Briscoe. He was
Gerald Briscoe, yeah. Mr. McMahon.
There we go.
But The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. That was a damn show he did. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. I watched that show too, which shows how horrible stuff I watch. But yeah, just totally something different. We went with Sam Raimi to do a Western film, and I thought he did a pretty decent job for it. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Definitely.
Let's move on to our next film.
Good shooting.
That part always makes me laugh, like his face. 1990s Darkman, starring Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand, Colin Friels, Larry Drake, and Ted Raimi. The movie had a box office of 48 million and a budget of 14. Tell us about Darkman, Tone.
Larry Drake. We don't talk about Larry Drake enough. Larry Drake is a really good villain in this movie, and the movie is really cool because I could say this is probably one of the first superhero, I guess you call it a superhero type movie I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Batman 1989, but this is, right up there. Just thought it was a really cool story, and shot really well. And again, spawned lots of sequels, just like Highlander. But the original, it stands up. And I've heard rumors that he's talking about possibly doing something more with this, which could possibly be, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So this film is strange. It's completely strange out there. This film is a node from Raimi to the universe of horror monsters. And he does it through kind of like a superhero kind of way. The main character, the I guess protagonist of the film, is kind of an anti-hero, and Liam Neeson. He's completely batshit crazy. He has like a really bad anger problems, especially when he tries to win like a stuffed animal for his girlfriend. But it's got that humor in it. It's got action in it. It's got a really cool concept that he can basically. It's kind of like a early version of I guess Mission Impossible with the mask over the person. And he basically can take on their personality, not their personality, but their voice and whatnot. And that's how he hides. Because he created this like synthetic skin, which I thought was pretty, because he's a scientist. Larry Drake is awesome as Durant. It just has those characters that is pretty funny. At the end, you get a Bruce Campbell cameo. As he's Darkman. But you had people that were considered for this role, like Gary Oldman was considered for the Liam Neeson character.
That would have been interesting.
A person who could do voices. Kathy Bates was really cast as the Burn Doctor, but backed out. So you had some people that were pretty big up there that were thinking about this film. And when I did a little research for the film, we found out that Raimi's final vision wasn't really liked upon by the studio. That Danny Elfman, the person who worked on the score for the film, also a member of Oingo Boingo.
Oh yeah.
He basically told them, if you don't let Sam have oversight to get the cut done, then I'm going to remove my score. And Danny Elfman was he still is kind of in demand, but he was really in demand in those times because of the Batman film. This came out right around that time. And also, he was in a band, but great scorer, organizer. And they basically were like, okay, we'll let Sam Raimi have some of the oversight of the final cut of the film. So he stood up for him and was in solidarity of it. A totally weird, like, hero movie.
It is out there.
This film sticks out to me because around this time there were two films that came out that I distinctly remember, just the trailers, and one stuck with me because it's a better film, and that's this one, and the other being the Billy Zane The Phantom, which I remember watching it, not liking it, and I haven't seen it since it's like maybe 30 years. And that goes into like another film called The Spirit with Samuel L. Jackson and the guy from Suits, Gabriel Mock. Like I thought it looked cool, and then I saw it. I was like, "What the hell is this?
What is this garbage?"
Yeah. So it's one of those superhero movies that started its own little thing, and I hope he does come out and do something with it. I don't know if Liam Neeson can come back, but maybe he can. He was just in the Naked Gun, so I don't know.
That's it will be interesting to see. And I do know you don't have to answer the question. The sequels to this one aren't as good as the first one. Die, Darkman, Die. Because Liam doesn't even come back for the sequels.
No, I think they kind of leave him like kind of bandaged up, right? For
Well,
most of
yeah,
it.
so it's not like you need him, but
Yeah.
and when he's upside down in Back to the Future too.
Yeah, he sued for that, man.
I know he did. I know
And he won.
did.
Apparently he was executive producer for The Return of Durant and Die Dark Man Die. Yeah,
cool.
so
That's cool at least.
I mean, he had some, I guess, say in it, but they
Some
weren't
straight
that
to
great.
video cash.
Yeah, but the first one's the best one.
It is.
Let's go on to the next film, my friend. (2009's) Drag Me to Hell, starring Alison Lohman, Justin Long, Lorna Raver, David Paymer, Dilsip Roa, and Adriana Barraza. Ooh, actually got through those names pretty well. Had a budget of $30 million and a box office of $90. This is basically in Sam Raimi's Real House. It's something that was different. Horror is something that you can, like I said, put your own spin on it. And this one is about a gypsy curse, and I thought he did a really good job in it. It's got that Sam Raimi gory, kind of like Evil Dead kind of vibe to it, but it's also a pretty interesting story. And it has some comedic parts, like when she throws up on David Paymer with the blood. But it's got an interesting story. It's not the greatest horror movie, but it's something that was really interesting, and it has like its good jump scares. And I thought he did a really good job with something that wasn't predominantly. Now with curses are, in every damn movie now. But this one was kind of when curses weren't really brought up as much, besides maybe the Wolfman curse or the Peringer werewolf. I really liked this film. I saw this in theater, and I when it came out, I actually bought it. I always thought Justin Long was a tool in this film, but I like Justin Long. I just always thought he was a tool in this film. And at the end, when he watches her get dragged, he doesn't do anything but just stare. Like, why is he trying to help her? But great ending too. What do you think about this one?
I will agree with everything that you said. I saw it in the movie theater too. A lot of fun. I also think the title is an awesome title, Drag Me to Hell. I mean, that just sounds like an awesome movie. And it's fun, I mean, we're not for what it's going for. And I think that's what Sam was looking to try to accomplish, behind the thing is trying to just have fun while making horror movies. I mean, that's what he does with the Evil Dead movies. It's fun, and the way he delivers it in his vision makes it even more fun. But you're right about Justin Long. Even in other movies that he's in that are in the horror variety, he always plays a D-bag, which he does it at a great job. So it's like kudos to him. And also kudos to the older lady in the movie who just did a great job scaring me when I first saw it.
Yeah, Adriana Barraza.
Yeah,
she was really good. Just really good concept, cool concept.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this one, check it out. There's a great scene. You'll see like a lot of Evil Dead kind of like symbolism or inspired stuff when the goat, they have the goat starts coming alive at the during the seance. It made me laugh when I saw that. I'm like, you could tell it's a Sam Raimi movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. So much that I included it for the 31 Days of Horror.
Well, yeah, and it's also kind of crazy too when you think about it because isn't it PG-13?
This one, I believe,
it was in the notes here. It says
it might be.
It says the only PG-13 horror film Sam Raimi has directed. So I'll say that.
And you know what? I didn't even realize that. Like I wrote when I was writing because that's pretty awesome because it doesn't feel like a PG-13 film.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. And it's crazy because I just got an okay that I could show PG-13 movies at school if I get a sign from the parent. We're watching Drag Me to Hell. Is that okay? No, I'm just kidding. No. But PG-13 is nuts for this movie because you think with that title, and there's some gore in this too. I don't know how that got passed.
You should just put it as DMTH.
DMTH.
And they'll be like, what's that? It's a horror film. That's PG-13.
It's related to the Dungeons and Dragons Club after school.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this one, check this one out. Moving on to our next film.
And you also admit to having beaten up the victim on the night that she was murdered.
I wouldn't exactly say that I beat her up.
Well, you're the expert. You tell me, just how badly do you have to beat a woman before it fits your definition of beating up?
2000's The Gift, starring Kate Blanchett, Katie Holmes, Keanu Reeves, Giovanni Ribisi, J.K. Simmons, Greg Kinnear, Hilary Swank, Gary Cole, and Michael Jeter. Box office of $44 million and a budget of $10 million. Tone, tell us why you picked this one.
This was one, again, like the A Simple Plan. They have these movies that I would just kind of like. I liked them a lot because not a lot of people, if you talked about it, would talk about it when it first came out because, they just didn't see it. And I really like the twist in this movie. I like all the performances. I think Keanu Reeves has the most ridiculous Southern accent I've ever heard in a movie, but that's what makes it hilariously great. Giovanni Ribisi's ridiculous in this movie too for what he's doing. I know it's not supposed to be ridiculous, but it kind of feels that way. Kate Blanchett always does a fine job. Hilary Swank. I like the way Sam Raimi can tell a story. I'm not going to say that enough by all the movies I think that we picked. The story's solid. The script is solid. For this one, it's a ghost story. So I think the atmosphere, it's like Southern hillbilly trailer park, voodoo. It's kind of cool in its own little way. And I think all of the actors pull it together in exactly what they're trying to do. Just really also interesting is just kind of just how stacked the cast is. Lots of Oscar winners or nominees, including Blanchett, Swank, J.K. Simmons, Greg Kinnear, Rosemary Harris, Danny Elfman. Working with Danny Elfman is and he's going to be great for anybody. Just ask Tim Burton too.
Yeah, just great. Well, I like his music too, but just a great composer.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed him and his anything he does with music, and then he has a lot of inspiration from like the early Universal monster horror movies as well. I thought his music in here is really good. It's one of the rare films that Keanu Reeves plays a bad guy in this one, and I think his accent in The Devil's Advocate was way worse than this one. But just an all-star cast in this film. Another film doesn't get talked about enough. I think Gary Cole, who plays the prosecutor in this film, is awesome, and he actually kind of carried that on to Suits. He plays a kind of like a DA that's kind of corrupt, but really isn't corrupt. What the DA is like is he basically makes sure his people goes to jail by making sure the evidence is hidden that can get them off if he knows they're guilty. Until he sends somebody to jail that's not supposed to be there. He plays a guy named Cameron Dennis. He's actually really, really good in that role as a lawyer. He does a great job in this film. And Michael Jeter, we know him from the Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
As the
Green
guy
Mile.
Also Green Mile, yeah. Open Range too.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really, really star-casted film. I really like this one, and it's a tough subject, but it's kind of cool. It's got that, mystery and kind of like supernatural kind of feeling to it, with the concept of the story. So it's up his, right in his wheelhouse, but it's a good film. Good pick, my man.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next one. You're gonna crack up at the scene I chose for this, Tone.
Great.
So, 2002 Spider-Man 2, starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, Alfred Molina, James Franco, Rosemary Harris, J.K. Simmons, Dylan Baker, and Cliff Robertson. The movie had a budget of $200 million and a box office of $785 million. This was the sequel to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, of the Spider-Man trilogy he did in the early 2000s. To me, this is always going to be my favorite Spider-Man film. I really, really enjoyed this film. I thought it was perfectly put out in terms of the story. I thought the actors were chosen beautifully, and Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Uh, and there's a lot more comedy in this film than it's just like the scene I showed of him falling in on the him losing his powers due to what's going on in his life, and he falls and hits his back. There's a part where he there was a rumor that Toby Maguire didn't want to do this film because he wanted more money and kept complaining about his back, and they actually included that in the film when he lands on a car and he's like, "Oh, my back," as like a nod to that, which I thought was hilarious. The CGI isn't as great as it was when I first saw it, but I mean that scene where he's sitting in the coffee shop with her, and Doc Ock throws the car, and like he basically to do a slow motion of him tilting his head was always pretty cool to me. I remember watching it in theater and thinking, "This is awesome." I thought Molina kind of plays, the anti hero villain, if that makes sense. Like you kind of feel bad for him, and he does it again in the No Way Home film. I thought he as he reprises the role. The first two Spider-Mans have two great villains in Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina. Unfortunately for Sam, he chose Topher Grace in the next film. But and apparently Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Mysterio in the fourth film that fell through. Yeah, but he makes a appearance in here too as the usher. But yeah, definitely if you haven't seen this one, check it out. What do you think about this one?
I think Doc Ock is one of the greater villains in a superhero movie. His portrayal of him did a really good job. It's a really awesome superhero movie. I mean, when it came out, it was really highly regarded as the best, and since then we've had other ones, but still, I think it's still one of the better Spider-Man movies they've released.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. It is one of the better ones they released. I wish Sam Raimi got another crack at doing his vision. I know they brought him back to the Marvel universe with Doctor Strange too, which I thought was okay. But this one, I wish he got another crack at Spider-Man. Maybe he can come back and do Spider-Man at one time. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because you say to yourself, the vision he brought to this first time he did it I thought it was pretty groundbreaking at the time, as far as comic book movies go. I mean, who did it as good as he did up until this point,
Yeah.
Because you had the whole movie, I mean, that bombed. I mean, what else? What other ones were here besides Batman?
I mean, I don't know I don't know if it bombed, but I don't think it was. I remember watching that film. It was okay.
Well, I mean, at the movie theater, it bombed.
Oh yeah, Eric Bana.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it's not. I rewatched it now. Now I'll revouch and say it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
But Ang Lee's a good director, so you're going to find again something good in the movie. But I don't know. It was really good that Sam Raimi was able to get his hands on this.
Yeah, I thought Sam Raimi did a great job. I love that he included like scenes from the the original Spider-Man of through the comics, how he looks when he is flying through the city. He includes the motions and whatnot from the comics in there, which I thought was a great job. I really enjoyed this film. I think it's like probably one of the best comic book films that we've had.
Well, yeah, just the way he was able to do some of these action scenes are just really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen it, where have you been? But check it out. So, Tone, we're in the home stretch here. We're in our last 3 films.
All right.
And we're going to go with the next one.
I went 10 rounds with John L. Sullivan himself.
I saw Tyson beat Spinks on TV.
Now, this is a film that Sam Raimi produced, which I thought was hilarious when you put it on the list. 1994's Time Cop, directed by Peter Hyams, who also did The Relic, Outland. 2010, the year we make content. Contact, not Content, Sudden Death, and Narrow Margin. The film stars JCVD, Mia Sara, Ron Silver, Bruce McGill, Gloria Rubin, and Scott Bellis at a box office of $101 million on a $27 million budget. Tell us about Time Cop, my man.
I really like this movie a lot. So when I saw he produced it, which I didn't know until we were picking movies, I was like, I get to talk about Time Cop tonight, and also say that Sam Raimi's had a nice little producing career. He's produced quite a few movies, but I like Time Cop for a couple different reasons. To me, I just my own personal opinion, I think this is his most serious movie. The one where it's not as ridiculous as a lot of his other films. I also like the whole entire storyline. I thought it was really cool. I think Ron Silver did a great job as the bad guy. He's good in all the different ways. The scene in which Jean-Claude Van Damme jumps on top of the counters with the splits is something that I'm still going to attempt and get one day, but it's still a little bit off. I just think it's a really good movie for what it's going for, and kind of being like something that you would see in the 90s. And also great cast, because you get to see Ferris Bueller's Mia Sara playing a different role that you usually don't see. Bruce McGill's great as his cop partner friend. I think it's just an awesome, great time.
Yeah, just a great time. This is the biggest film that Jean-Claude Van Damme has done since in his career solely. Of course, he made more money with The Expendables, but that had like a bunch of other people. This is like his biggest action film, and I really liked it. It had a pretty cool concept story. The CGI and stuff in it don't hold up at the end, but it's just it's corny, but I liked it a lot. I love that he goes back and forth in time, and you see a reason why he's doing so. The splits that on the top of the cabinets is ridiculous.
You gotta try that when we get off of here. Go upstairs and try that for Jen.
Break my damn leg doing it. But Ron Silver was a villain, which something that he rarely did, which I thought was kind of cool. But a lot of action, a lot of corny lines. But I remember watching it as a kid. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome, Van Damme. And then he went on to do Double Team.
double
or Knockoff with Rob Schneider.
Oh my god. But back to Sam, it's cool that he's produced The Grudge. He's produced The Grudge too. He's produced a lot of little different stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, he has his hand in a lot of in a lot of other films that are pretty decent, man.
Yeah.
Stuff that he helps out with that doesn't get enough credit. I totally forgot he was on this film, so that was a nice deep cut pull for this one.
Thank you.
But moving on, my friend, we are going into our final two here, and we are flying through these today. This one is probably the one he's most known for when you think of Sam Raimi.
8 of spades, 2 spades, jack of diamonds, jack of clubs.
That probably makes me laugh. The Evil Dead 1981, starring Bruce Campbell, Ellen Sandweiss, Betsy Baker, Richard DeMoniker, and Teresa Tilly. It had a box office of $2.4 million and a budget of $350K. Now, why is this movie significant to me? Why is it if there's no Evil Dead, there is no Sam Raimi. This film was his first big film he's ever done, besides, his little side projects he had. It took him, I believe, 3 years to complete with his best friend, Bruce Campbell. That cast I gave you was basically the all lead cast in the film. Everybody else that helped out was named Shemp, basically unnamed Shemp, which is a take from the Simpsons, Three Stooges, for people who weren't, actually Shemp played an unnamed Shemp. Great graphics, great, basically gore in the film, great, practical effects. This is a horror that had a lot of like something different in it. You had demons, and it had a scene where it was claymation, like stop motion, that was ridiculous. The scene with the tree is fucking way out there. I don't know what he was thinking during that with the sister in the tree, but it's gotten such a big following. You know, they had sequels to this film, they had a series to this film, they had you know, spin-offs, that now they're having remakes come out. And like I said, it put its own stamp on horror, that the Sam Raimi stamp on horror, with the blood, the comedy in it. There's comedy in this film, and Bruce Campbell is just awesome. And it's kind of cool that they're both from Michigan, and their big thing was to get the film on the Michigan theater when it was finally up for opening night, and they had it up there. You know, they were so excited, and that was their end, their big, you know, moment. They thought that they made it, and Raimi still owns the Oldsmobile that Campbell drives in this film. That's actually his car. He still owns it to this day, which I think is kind of cool. Just a classic film, Tone. What do you think about The Evil Dead?
Oh, I mean, it's really, really awesome. I mean, I love Evil Dead 2 also quite a lot. But you could, like you said, I like going back to that original and really being able to cue into why we were able to get Darkman and some of these other movies. So he did a really good job in, but like you said, it's weird too, which I think that's kind of what made it its magic, because who else was doing stuff like this at the time?
Yeah, it's just something different. It's something he wanted to do. You know, and like I said, it's a passion project that went on to be, you know, spawn into a multi-million-dollar franchise that who would have thunk it that this kid from Michigan made this? You know, it's just ridiculous. I really like the film. If you haven't seen it, again, where have you been? It's probably one of the best horror films that gets its due, but deserves more.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. Considering around the same time you get other kind of horror movies that aren't like this at all, definitely stands out.
Yeah, so if you can, check out The Evil Dead. And to close out the night, we're going with another film in this series. Tony's number 10 pick.
Klaatu, Veranda,
This, I see you're back. This is the 1982 film, actually 1992 film, Army of Darkness, with Bruce Campbell, Elizabeth Davids, Ian Abercrombie, Marcus Gilbert, Richard Grove, Michael Earl Reed, and Bridget Fonda. Tell us about the 1982 film Army of Darkness.
I like, again, we just talked about The Evil Dead. By this point in the whole entire thing, we're getting into bigger scope, a lot bigger scope. I like the way the movie starts like in a grocery store. And then it's just ridiculous. And then all of a sudden it's cool because it kind of turns into like Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad type of film, which is nothing like Evil Dead, which to me always kind of blew my mind because it just like kind of like he just came up with something completely different, but you got the same character. And if you're watching online, the original poster for the movie, I remember seeing this poster up in Suncoast Video and never seeing this movie and being like, what is this? This looks like it's going to be ridiculously awesome. And not knowing that it had any connection to Evil Dead, but the movie just really, really, I think it really hammers home a lot of the stuff that you were talking about in the Evil Dead, a lot of the cool effects that he likes to work with, and definitely did a good job. You know what I mean? When you go back and you look into it and you read into it, he put a lot of work into the exteriors and the pre-production for this film.
Yeah, and you know, the ending, Hail to the King, baby, was a remake ending, was basically shot because the studio didn't like the fact that the original ending was fading to black. So Raimi actually loved the fact that it had two different endings. And Shop Smart Save Mart, Bruce Campbell's character of Ash ended up in the series works there still, which I thought was hilarious. just so many great one-liners in this film too. It's completely like slapstick comedy in here to go along, and Evil Dead 2 does the same thing. This one had a little bit more. You have him basically fighting himself as a twin. You have him, with fighting when he fights the dead. That it's just really, really good vibes here. A lot of old school vibes like Jason and the Argonauts. Great, callback there with the skeletons. And the movie was made in 1992. I kept saying 82 because I wrote it wrong on my notes because I am dyslexic. No, yeah, it's just I really enjoyed this film. Some people say this is probably the best of the films. Some people say it's the worst. I think for Raimi, I think each film just keeps getting better, building on the previous. I thought every film was just great.
Mm-hmm. And also, I will also tell you, I mean, let's be honest, 3 movies and a television series, there really isn't anything bad about it. You don't get a bad clunker movie. I mean, besides that one we went and saw last time.
Yeah, I did not like the remake.
But they got another one coming out, so maybe they'll correct it. They'll correct their mistakes. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I think for those films, I think they have to grasp what the essence of Evil Dead is. It's not just a horror film.
No.
And there wasn't really any comedic parts in the one we went to go see.
There wasn't any.
So I think they have to look at what I don't think they understand what it is. But Sam's getting paid, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that matters.
Definitely.
So that is our 10 favorite Sam Raimi films. Tone, I see you got some Sam Raimi facts up here. Let's go with some Sam Raimi facts here.
Yeah, real quick here. Before we were going out here, I was taking a look at all of his movies and what were the opening weekends. It's interesting that his biggest opening weekend, now basically it was in 2022, was Doctor Strange. So it shows that he still, but with inflation and everything else like that, when you go to the Spider-Man movies, $114 million in 2002 is actually probably better than 187 in 2022. But you can also just see his whole gross. And it says over there at the end, if you look his domestic stats, he's made 62% of his money back. So that's actually really well when you look at how many movies he's come out with, the different types of movies he's come out with. You can see the theaters that also plays into it, but just found it to be some very interesting stats.
Yeah, his movies as a director have generated an estimated $4.27 billion worldwide at the box office. He's a big fan of the Three Stooges, which is why all that slapstick comedy is in his films. You can kind of see it out there. His big like thing to the big time when he did Darkman, that was like his first major studio film that made him money. He made money with the Evil Dead, but this is like that was more of an independent role. It was his independent thing. And when he went to Darkman, he did his own. I think it was Paramount. Was it Paramount that did Darkman?
Yes.
I didn't write that down. Yeah, so he did Paramount, Universal.
You're right. It was Universal.
So that was like his big company. He did that, and like you said, he produced the Grudge films, bringing Japanese horror to the mainstream. He collaborated with the Coen brothers and their work. He was even in Miller's Crossing as a gangster in a small part when they go try to get Gabriel Bryan's character when they're shooting at the in the distillery, when all the cops are lined out outside with their guns. That he has a gun. He's one of the cops with a gun.
I'm pretty sure. I think he's friends with the Coen brothers.
Yeah,
cool.
He is. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Just a director that doesn't get talked about a lot. When I heard him coming in for Doctor Strange, I was really excited. So I hope he continues to be in that realm. I am definitely going to try to check out his new film that just came out. So if you can check that out. But this was a great topic for this week, Tone.
Yeah, it was very awesome to pick out his great movies here and talk about them.
Yeah. And he has a lot of films where I don't really have a film that I don't really like by him. To the point where I won't watch it completely. If it's on, I'll watch it. The
only movie I have not seen that I can't comment on is that most recent he did in Oz. The Wonderful Oz. I've never seen a couple of years ago.
With James Franco?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Then that eliminates that's besides Spider-Man 3.
Sorry, we got the dance though, the Tobey Maguire dance.
It's true. That's true.
I'm put a little dust in your eye. So that is our Sam Raimi little facts and Sam Raimi breakdown of our favorite films. I hope you guys liked it. If we missed out any ones that you thought should have been on there, let us know in the comments or send us a message. Before we go into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, let's go into our plugs. Tell them, my man, what's going on at the hookup?
The hookup on music is going to be back this week. We are currently digging through our vinyl and seeing what we're going to be talking about. Generally, it's going to be something to honor the amazing music in which we love. So please check in to see what that's going to be about. We just recently, this past week, talked about the last James Bond movie the second Pierce Brosnan movie. It was our last episode with Tomorrow Never Dies. That was a lot of fun this week, so go back and check that out. What do you got going
on? Before I get to my stuff, I want to see Adam's reaction to Christmas, to Dr. Christmas from the last Pierce Brosnan James Bond.
It's going to be good.
It's The World Is Not Enough, right? Yeah.
Yep. He's been pumping it up all season.
So yeah, check out the James Bond show. It's a show that they do every Wednesday, I believe, right?
Every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday. Good stuff. I try to watch live if I'm not doing work, and I watch it during work because you guys crack me up. But just a great show to watch. I just did a frame to frame with our guy Cubes Fan, aka Cotton. We did the 1987 RoboCop versus the 2014 RoboCop. So we just released that. If you want to check that out, it's on our channel. We'll be coming back probably in a few weeks to do another. Just like we'll be coming back in a few weeks. And that's pretty much all I got to plug on my end. I know our guy Magnificent Stan just did a drafty pod with the wrestling themes that you guys are at. He has another coming out soon, I believe this week. Is it this week or next week? He hasn't given us a topic. He usually gives us a topic a little late, but it should be pretty crazy. Yeah. So check out Getting Drafty in here. It's pretty much all the plugs I have. Just thank you guys for listening and watching, and we appreciate being able to do this for the past. Well, we're going on
5-6 years.
5-6 years, yeah. It flew by. I actually got the Facebook reminder today, or memory from when we did the thing with the bums at the Winter Circle. It was 3 years ago. So, I don't know. I've been doing this too long. But yeah, check us out. Let us know if you want us to cover thing specifically. We always take those into consideration, or anything that you want to see different about the pod. We will be having our guest coming back. Mailman Jack is chomping at the bit. We talk to him like every day. Me and Tone.
My favorite.
So we'll have him coming back for some stuff. We'll have Keelan coming back with her horror stuff, and we'll try to get Roxy in here. She's been busy, but the married Roxy.
The married Roxy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But with that, Tone, let's get into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, my guy. The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
All right. Tonight we are going with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the album, which honestly, I don't know where I was when this was released, but it is loaded with a lot of awesome, heavy tracks, which I've been into a lot lately. You start out with some Pantera, Immortally Insane. Generally also on the soundtrack, before I go into some more, is Sweet Home Alabama, which is, I guess, a key for the film. But you also got things on the soundtrack like Seether and Static X and Soil and Hatebreed and Meshuggah, who is super heavy. Finger 11 Stay in the Shadow. That is not as heavy as some of those other bands. You got Lamb of God, who've got a new album actually coming out. But a really heavy soundtrack for and they don't play a lot of these songs in the movie, which is kind of crazy because generally when you do a soundtrack like this, you'd think the songs would be blasting throughout it. That's why I know Sweet Home Alabama is in the movie. But it's a cool soundtrack because at this time period when it came out, for the movie, what kind of soundtrack are you going to have for it? You're going to play some soft music? No, it needs to be heavy. And just this week also, they just signed a new television show is going to be coming out for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and possibly another movie, which I don't know how many times you're going to keep remaking this thing, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. In terms of remakes, this movie's been remade to hell, man. The original is the best, in my opinion. I did like the sequel to it. This one that came out wasn't bad. I'll give it that. The film wasn't bad.
No,
but
Jessica Biel did.
Yeah. But I like. It makes me laugh that you said Skinner. Is like the intro in the song.
Yeah.
Of course, Sweet Home Alabama. And I remember when I was watching it, because I love Skinner. I'm a secret Skinner fan. I really listen to a lot of Skinner. But I was watching it. One of my friends, Camille, we went to go see it at the theater, and she leans over to me. She's like, "How come in every country-based film they have to play this song? Like it's like so stereotypical." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then you're saying this now, which made me laugh. Also, to go with her, to continue with Camille. She was the person that introduced me to Mushroom Head.
Ooh.
We were at U of I, and she comes to our dorm room, and she's like, "Hey, have you guys ever heard of Mushroom Head?" And I'm like, "No, I've never heard of them." And when we went, my buddy was like, "This is like a knockoff Slipknot."
Four-man Slipknot, yeah.
Slipknot. So, but really, really good bands on this. You got Seether, Lamb of God, Finger 11, Pantera. Really, really good album, man. The movie wasn't as bad, and I to be honest with you, now that I see this, I don't even remember this album.
Honestly,
soundtrack.
Honestly, this was one that I actually, of all the soundtracks we've talked about, I've heard all of them, or I've listened to when it came out. This is the first one that popped up on my feed, and I go, "There was a soundtrack for this." But like, I knew some of these songs because actually, like, when I looked at the soundtrack on like Spotify, the Finger 11 track, for somehow I listened to it somewhere else. So like some of these songs I'd heard before, but together, that's why I think they do this and call it the album, because it's like something that they release maybe after the fact, and it's not really on the movie as much, but something that if you're a fan of the movie, you can buy.
Yeah. But good pick, man. Good deep dive pick.
Deep dive.
All right, my friend. Well, that is our show. Short show, which is kind of crazy because I think we just kept talking, but it went by so fast. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in. We'll be listening on the podcast. Check us out at Sadistic Penguin Studios, the website where we post blogs. We post all our stuff from YouTube. Or if you want to watch on the YouTube, check out the Hookup on Music. Tony does a great job killing it on TikTok. Everybody loves your TikTok shorts on there. That's where we get most of our comments from. And check out the Drafty Show. With that, though, we will be seeing you guys in a couple weeks, if not sooner. Take it easy, and we'll see you then.
Have a good night.
Thanks for listening to the At the Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?